Good afternoon and welcome to Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. And joining me at MarketSite is Rick Swope. He's the VP Investor Education over at E-Trade. And we have a lot to cover for you today, including market outlook and some strategy. But Rick, before we get into that, tell us a little bit more what you do at E-Trade and why investor education is important and how much it has evolved.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I have to say I am first and foremost a teacher at heart. But education is very important. I've been working with E-Trade for a number of years. I'm now leading the education effort for our retail investors and traders. And it's important because, especially in a market like right now, people need confidence. A lot of questions that come up are things like, how high is the market going to go? And well, the answer is nobody really knows. But having the confidence to step into that market is really a function of education. And so we're making great strides in that. We're looking to expand our offerings. And
I think it says a lot about the industry. Just look at the tools that were available only 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, retail investors, they have more at their disposal than even the pros did back then. I think it's fantastic what the industry has done. And to capitalize on that, the markets are at all-time highs as we're speaking right now.
That's right.
Give us a little bit of your outlook on that. I'm sure you get that question all of the time. Are we at the top? Can I put more money in?
Right, right. Well, you know, the question is, are we at the top? The top will tell us it's the top, but not until after it's already past the top. And that's kind of the key that we talk about. You know, trends are trends until they change. And that sounds kind of obvious. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to try to dust off our crystal ball and say, okay, this is the top. You know, the economist John Maynard Keynes once said that while markets do tend toward rational positions in the long run, they can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. And so we teach people how to get in, not be afraid of a high market, but at the same time, protection is key.
Speaking of protection, I think when you look at your portfolio, you have to use the correct hedge.
Yes.
So you have the S&P 500, the SPX, and we also have the Nasdaq 100, which is the top 100 Nasdaq-listed stocks, ex financials.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about the difference with the both of them.
Well, different indexes have different representations. So in Nasdaq, you've got more of the tech representation. Some of the others have broader representation, and it's really it boils down to what does your portfolio look like? Are you investing and trading across a broad portfolio? In which case, your protection should probably be more of a broad-based protection. That can be an option strategy, and it might be something as simple as buying put options. If you're looking at specific investments within an index, we talk about the FANG stocks sometimes.
But aren't they represented in the S&P as well? But there's a difference with the way that the indexes are constructed.
Yes, and of course then volatility is different. And so, you know, one of the things, the two things that we like to teach folks is you want to look at both trend and volatility. Trend is it going from point A to point B? Volatility, though, that a lot of people overlook is how does it go from point A to point B? And it can be a straight line, or it can be a line that can give you a lot of late nights wondering what's happening next.
Right.
And so some of the things that we like to teach through our education is how do you evaluate volatility? Can you look at it as a broad index, in which case you look at the perhaps a volatility index, or can you look at it as an individual investment? And then there are strategies to do that, maybe technical strategies like Bollinger Bands or standard deviations or coefficients of variations, all these different types of tools that now, as you say, 15 years ago, these weren't available to traders. Now they're available at the touch of a button.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us at MarketSite. And traders, as always, thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.